Courtney, and I'm very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, to put it mildly. But what the hell else are you going to do with your time? You can't just sit around and feel sorry for yourself. It's not a winning strategy. Trust me, I did that for a long time. Um, and guess what? All that happened was I got fatter and sicker and more unhappy. Shocking, right? But change is hard. And I used to be, I've done so much. I've done so much change. No, I've made so many changes in my life. Honestly, as a result of dealing with all my crazy health issues, because I had to. I had to figure out. I used to be a really negative person, and I used to, gosh, y'all, I spent so many years in a really deep depression because of all of this. And I finally realized one day, like, I've got to fix my attitude. I'm not going to make it a whole hell of a lot longer if I don't figure this out. And I did. And now I'm known as somebody with a really positive attitude, which is kind of funny to me, um, considering where I started. But you know what? This change is difficult. And it's so funny to me. We resist it so much, but truly, change is the only constant that we have in our lives. But it is difficult. This information, by the way, is from Psychology Today. So why is it so hard for us to make changes? Especially sometimes you want to so bad. And you're like, why can't I figure this out? Well, there's a lot of reasons behind it. And this is by no means a complete list. So, number one, we tend to try to build from really uncomfortable emotions. Uncomfortable emotions, they're not a good driving force for change. Now, on the surface, absolutely guilt, shame, frustration, regret, despair, anger. Those all seem like really good reasons to change, don't they? But they're not. Why? Because you cannot build without a solid foundation. You need to, instead of, oh, my life sucks, I need to change, you need to get specific. My life sucks because of this, and this is what I'm going to change to fix it. I mean, you've got to focus on the positive instead of focusing on, well, my life sucks. Focus on that. This is how I'm going to fix it. You've got to you've got to have a spark of hope. You've got to have a spark of optimism to build from. And if you don't have that, I mean, truly, I don't know how to help you with that because I had to find it for myself. Again, I used to, I was frankly suicidal for many years because of my health stuff. And I wasn't even nearly as unhealthy then as I am now. I only had one primary health complaint at that point. Now I have two really big ones and a third significant, a fourth significant one. Anyway, if I can make these changes, you can too. But you've got to remember, you need a solid foundation to build from. I mean, really, when you think about it, it only makes sense, doesn't it? Reason number two, why change is so hard for us: logical fallacies, particularly all or nothing. I'm never going to eat sugar again. You're probably going to fail terribly if you declare an all or nothing. I'm only going to eat sugar a couple days a week. That's small. That's doable. That's measurable. And if you're a sugar addict, that's something you can wrap your head around. Um, you need to remember to celebrate your wins as you go. Maybe you are trying to give up sugar. Maybe used to be, oh, this is so gross. I used to be a massive Diet Coke freak. I literally would carry a 12-pack of Diet Coke everywhere I went so that I always had Diet Coke with me. It's so disgusting. I don't drink soda at all now, so that's just good. But at that time, giving up those Diet Cokes seemed impossible. So instead of I'm going to stop drinking Diet Coke, what I told myself was I'm just going to have one less soda a day. And it didn't take long till that one less tapered me off, and now I haven't drank soda in years. Um, anyway, I was going to make another point, but it's gone. I have barely slept in over a week. This is a very side note. My doctor and I had a conversation a while back about taking Benadryl to help me sleep, and she's like, I understand, but you can't rely on that because too much of Benadryl will eat holes in your brain. Well, I don't need that. I've got enough gosh damn problems. I have to sleep. So what do you do? Anyway, sorry, back on track. The third reason why we struggle so much with change is our intentions are so vague. Well, I want to be a better parent. Well, okay, but what does that mean to you? Not what does that mean to somebody else? What does that mean to you? Maybe that means I'm going to take my kids to the park for an hour 3 times a week. Great. That's fantastic. That's something you can measure. You know for a fact at the end of the week if you took them 3 times or not. But just I want to be a better parent. What the hell does that even mean? Do you want to be more engaged? Do you want to spend more time, I don't know, maybe teaching them something? Maybe spend more time traveling with them. But what does it mean to you to be a better parent? Maybe you want to dial down on your nutrition. That's fantastic. But again, what does that mean? There are so many different nutritional plans out there, and every single person's body is going to respond differently to the different eating protocols. So you can't be vague with it. I'm going to eat better. Okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to add a serving of vegetables every day this week. Obviously, that's going to work. It's small, it's measurable, it's very doable, it's easy for you to wrap your head around. But you have to be clear with your intentions. I mean, think about it. You can't reach a destination if you don't know where you're going, right? So you have to be clear. Number 4, excuse me. I have another freaking cold. Gosh damn it. Anyway, number 4, we struggle with change because we don't have the correct tools. Maybe you want to do a science project with your kid and you don't have any science projects to do with them. Well, get online and find some. I don't have children, but I'm pretty sure you can find all kinds of content like that out there. Maybe back to nutrition. Maybe you want to start tracking your food intake. That's great. But what are you going to track? Are you just tracking in general? Or are you counting? And if you are counting, what are you counting? Are you counting calories? Are you counting your macros? Do you know how to count your macros? Do you know what the different macros mean? And then how are you going to track them? Are you going to use an app? Great. That's my recommendation because your phone's almost always with you. But which app are you going to use? Do you know how to read a food label? That's an important thing if you're wanting to eat better. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I still tell this story because it makes me look so bad. But when I was younger, quite a bit younger, I didn't know how to read food labels, and we didn't know then what we know now about processed carbs and everything. This was, we all got fat when the government told us to eat more carbs and less meat. We just did. Anyway, I used to think, oh, this is so embarrassing. I used to think frosted mini wheats were health food. Why? It's wheat. How could that not be good for you? So yeah, you have to have basic. Y'all don't give me shit. I was really young, but you have to have. My point is, you have to know what the hell you're looking at. Reading a label does you no good if you don't understand the terms. If you don't understand the way that they hide certain ingredients that aren't very good for you. Um, Number 5 reason why we struggle so much with change is we try to do too much at once. Look, if you're a couch potato that likes, and no judgment at all, but you like to sit around and watch TV and eat potato chips and drink soda all day, well, guess what? It's very unlikely that you're going to magically start eating a really clean diet and exercising 5 days a week tomorrow. That's very unlikely to happen. Um, you need to remember that change demands our attention. It demands discipline. It demands motivation. Excuse me. You need to start small and build. Compound interest is a legit thing, and it doesn't just apply to your money. When you start, maybe you're really physically unhealthy. So your goal is, I'm going to start walking 30 minutes 3 times a week. Well, you know what you're probably going to find after a week or two? You're going to start looking at other areas in your life, and you're going to start picking up, hey, I'm going to start doing yoga on the other days because that'll make my walking easier. Or maybe you'll just increase your walking. My point is, start small. get some successes under your belt. Make sure to celebrate those successes as you get them, because if you don't celebrate the little things, you're not going to have a lot to celebrate. And the best way to keep yourself motivated is to stay focused on the positive. Start small and it'll build. Number six, we struggle with change because we don't realize what's truly required. Long-term change requires a lot of time. There's a ton of tiny little steps along the way, and you might get partway down the trail and think, well, I don't want to do this, and that's fine. We're all entitled to change our minds. You're not locked into something. But maybe you want to run a marathon, which I would never do personally, but I admire the hell out of people who do. Well, do you know what's really required? It's not like you're going to get up off the couch, drop the bag of Doritos and go out and start running a marathon. It doesn't work that way. Do you know what's involved to get there? And then, do you really understand what's involved once you've reached that? Years ago, one of my big goals was to teach a cardio kickboxing format called Turbo Kick. I freaking loved Turbo Kick so much. And I wanted so bad to become a group fitness instructor and teach Turbo Kick. Well, guess what? Even with all my health issues, I did it. But here's the thing. I understood the steps involved to get me there, but what I had not considered was how I would feel about it once I achieved that goal. Don't get me wrong. I'm very proud that I did that. But I'm very motivated and driven when I work out alone at home. And even though part of me really wanted to teach, what I had not ever considered was, well, by definition, I'm not alone. And this is so crazy. I can't believe I'm going to tell you all this, but it bothered me that I wanted people in my class, obviously, but it also bothered me at the same time because it's like, I'm exercising. I don't want anybody around, because for me, it's a really intimate, personal time. And I tend to get very inwardly focused. So I did consider the steps involved to get me there, but I didn't consider what it was going to look like once I got there. So I didn't last very long because isn't that funny? I want to be a group fitness instructor. Oh my gosh, why are all these people here when I'm trying to exercise? Go away. Excuse me. Finally, number 7. We're afraid to make change. We struggle to make change because we're afraid to fail, which honestly is really silly when you think about it, because first of all, failure is inevitable. It's just part of life. We've built it up to be this ridiculously huge thing, and it's really not. It's not. Any emotional crap that goes along with failure is what we've given it. It's just feedback. Now you know that whatever you tried, that didn't work out so well. It's going to help you get some clarity. It's okay, this didn't work. I'm going to regroup. I'm going to refocus, and I'll find a way to make this work for me. It's both that simple and that complicated. But anyway, that is all. No, that is not all I have today. I'm going to go off on a little bit of a side rant here. So a lot of you know I brag a lot about the good relationship I have with my doctor. Well, I've been trying to get some information from my clinic now that needs to come directly from my doctor for a week. I have no idea if she's getting my messages and ignoring me. I have no idea if she hasn't seen any of my messages, and I'm not really sure how I'm going to figure that out. But they've left me high and dry. And I called them the other day and I was like, look, if the answer is no, that's fine. It's not really, but at least I'll know, and then I can move forward. But to leave me dangling like this is really frustrating. And if it's her, I don't even know I don't know what I'll even say about that. If this is strictly her just blowing me off, I would be absolutely shocked. I'm very hurt. But if it's not her, how the hell am I going to get past the clinic? What am I supposed to do here? If I have to, I guess I'll go sit there all day, but I really don't want to. Y'all, I I got health problems up to my eyeballs. Going out into the cold afternoon or morning would be even worse, and sitting at the clinic all day just because nobody wants to give me an answer. That I it shouldn't have to come to that, but I guess it has. Anyway, that is all I have for today. I hope y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and I will be back Wednesday.